Hello and welcome to another episode of the Back Nine Report. We're really happy to welcome in our co-host Carlos Torres. Carlos, are things really bigger and better in Texas?
They are. They definitely are. I mean, that's how it is. Even food. I was connecting with my brother who retired from the Marines a couple of weeks ago, and we went to this place that they had recommended to me, and they had told me, "Look, this is like Texas. You're gonna get that styrofoam plate, and you're gonna see that you can actually feel it like a dumbbell." So I was like, "Sure, right." I went to that place with him, and both of us we took the thing, and then we were like, "Oh wow, this definitely." It's big. So
Well, I
yeah,
want to come back down here and go to that place we went to, man. That was fantastic. I still have dreams about that, man.
we will go. So as soon as you're here, we'll make a point to get there.
Carlos, this is the Open Championship week, and this year returns to Royal Troon on the west coast of Scotland. Of course, St. Andrews, Kingsbarns, Carnoustie, they're all on the east coast or by Edinburgh. This is over on the west coast. So, what are you kind of expecting this week from the Open? Are there things you're looking for and want to see?
Well, there's just so many storylines that we can just make a show about the storylines, right? Just mentioning them. But definitely one of the things that I've noticed is that US players have been the ones who have won the major so far. So will the US complete a major sweep? And will it be the first time since 2018 that we'll have somebody win two major championships? Last time was Brooks Koepka in 2018. Scotty Scheffler, will he continue his dominance? I mean, he's about to reach Tiger-like status. Will he do that? Bad. Bryson DeChambeau 3.0, I'm calling him because he was 1.0 and he got tough and all that stuff. But now he's renewed. That
He's
Bryson
becoming the Arnold
DeChambeau
Palmer of our time.
amazing. I mean, his recent form, will he keep it? Will he be ready to challenge for the top spot in golf? Roy McIlroy, will he bounce back in major form? I mean, are his off-course issues? I think a lot of things are with the off-course. Well, we'll talk about that. Are they over? Will he be able to fully concentrate on the task at hand this week? And talking about rebounds, I want to see John Ram play. What's going on with him? Tough year for him. We'll talk about him too. And will we see another duel like we did in 2016? Last time it was in Royal Troon. We saw that back and forth between Hendrick and Phil Mickelson. We have plenty of players capable to do it. Man, will this be the last time we'll ever see Tiger at an Open? He has 300,000 to 1 odds. What? I didn't even know you can go that low.
Can you
And
bet a
of
dollar?
course, yeah, I mean, and of course, will the weather be the star this weekend and will make everybody else's life miserable? Let's talk about that too.
Carlos, so speaking of the weather on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for the practice rounds is supposed to be really, really good for Scotland. But starting Thursday, it cools down and they're going to have some damp conditions. I don't know about heavy rain. I don't know if the wind's going to pick up a little bit. As you know, on the links courses, the wind is the main form of defense. As we could saw there at the Scottish Open at the Renaissance Club, when there's no wind, I mean, the courses are defenseless. You can just tear them up. You know, they're shooting 20 under, 17, 18, 19 under, no problem. So the weather might be a factor on the weekend. We'll see how that goes. You mentioned the fact that a few years ago we saw Henrik Stenson and Phil Mickelson battling all week, and then that fantastic final round on Sunday, where those two were like what 5, 6 shots clear of the field. It was just match play. They were going back and forth with Stenson pulling out the win. One of the best opens of all time, actually, competed there. Carlos, some of the past winners here include Bobby Locke, Arnold Palmer, Tom Weiskopf, ooh, an Ohio guy, Tom Watson, Mark Calcavecchia, Justin Leonard, Todd Hamilton, and Stenson, who we just mentioned. So, with this list and what we've seen in the past, do you feel Troon favors any specific golfer?
Well, you mentioned Troon is located off the Firth of Clyde coast. So, like most Open Championship venues, it's like a true coastal links venue that ranks up really with the best of the Open Road. You said last time we saw it to 2016, but this time they have like lengthened it a little bit, somewhat for this year's event. So they have tough fairways. So if you're off course a little bit, you're gonna pay big time. I mean, they have even greenside pot bunkers. The greens are a little smaller, so definitely, if you miss, if you're not a shot maker, you are going to have a tough time here. I mean, the best way that you can describe Royal Troon, the word would be treacherous. That's definitely, it's not overly tricky, but nor does it need gimmicks like super high rough or even high winds to play tough. So we expect high winds that gust over up to 25 miles per hour, but it's like a longer technical par 71. And I was trying to see what other course we can see maybe in the States, even though it's not a links course, that could pair to what Royal Troon is. And I would say TBC Sawgrass is kind of a not the same, but it's like kind of that
A
tight
little quirky, a
fairways.
little quirky. Yeah.
Yeah, tight fairways, and you really need to have great precision and shot making to overcome. So that if there's any players that have to do that, those are the ones that I would look for.
Carlos, one of the things that jumps out on me with this golf course is the player probably wants to have some experience playing links golf. You don't just jump on a links golf course normally and win right away. Most players don't. They need to play maybe two, three, four different times to get a feel for the course and become comfortable with the odd bounces and different things and playing out of pop bunkers or playing backwards sometimes because you just can't advance the ball forward with those steep faces, revetted faces on some of those pot bunkers. So experience really comes into play, not getting ahead of yourself and taking every one shot at a time. With all that said, we've seen some players really starting to ramp up their game. Now the season is kind of coming to an end. We've got, the Open Championship, then we're going to have the FedEx Cup playoffs coming here in a couple of weeks. So the season is really winding down. But some of these guys are playing at all-time high and a little bit surprising, really. Take Adam Scott for instance. Adam had a great week last week, came out of kind of from nowhere. You know, could he be a factor this week at the Open Championship?
Well, he's 44 years old, and he fell victim to Rory McIntyre's stunning finish. I mean, everybody was
Eagle
stunned.
par birdie, pretty good, pretty strong.
Yeah, but he hopes that his strong performance could boost him to this week at Troon. But I mean, he had that two-shot lead with 2 holes to go, so it's like, oh my God, he's gonna make it. And but he watched McIntyre play the final 2 holes in 3 under. That's like what? No.
Yeah.
But here's what I think is the key to him. He said, and I'm gonna quote him. He said, "Hopefully, I can take good form into next week. It's the first time. Here's the key. It's the first time I've been in contention this year, and I like where my game is headed. So I feel like I'm playing at a very high level." First time, and it's true. It's the first time this year that we have seen him compete to win. It was in the Phoenix Open that he finished T8, the only other tournament all year that he has really been in contention. But he has experience. He's a former winner of this tournament. So yeah, he definitely has the keys to win. Now, is his form good enough? I don't know. That could be it. And yeah, he played well at the Scottish Open, but one thing key to know is that the Scottish Open, very unlike what we're gonna see this weekend, the weather was not a factor. And this is gonna be. So will he at 44 be able to overcome that? That's gonna be the key.
So we saw Ludwig Oberg actually have a really good tournament again. Was in contention on the last round. Was in the lead going into the last round, and kind of blew a last round lead again. It's happened what about 3 times or 4 times now in big tournaments. He does have a couple wins, and he's a young guy. What is he, 21 years old or something? And he's playing at a very high level. Uh, does he take what he learned from these losses? Is he ready to win an Open Championship yet, or you think he needs a little bit more seasoning?
He still needs a little bit more seasoning. I think we'll have to put him back in the microwave and see if he can actually get ready for this. But it's really showing his greenness on the course, and not no pun intended, right? But definitely he has all the tools, and we have texted about Alberg, and he's definitely one of the players of the future. But I don't think This is a very demanding course with very demanding conditions, and he needs to experience it for the first time. I would be surprised if he wins, but not at all as well, because he does have the tools. But if he finally puts it together here, he's going to be one of those top players in the world.
We just a real quick note. I noticed on the first couple of holes, he hit his drive terribly, big time right on the first couple of holes. He was sliding head so bad, and that comes from a player who's nervous and trying to guide the ball and not just letting it swing. And when he on the first couple of holes, I saw that. He's got a problem today, unless he can turn this thing around quick. But it became an issue for him. The driving was a real issue. And then he did get some bad luck at the Scottish. It seemed like every time he hit an errant shot, it just became like unplayable. He got some really bad breaks. Really tough lies, and so it just couldn't quite turn it around. Somebody else that was in contention last week and has an Open Championship already sitting on his mantle, Colin Morikawa, has also been steadily having a wonderful year. He hasn't won, but has been very close with a bunch of top fives and top 25s. He's had a great year, just hasn't had a win yet, but he seems to be trending upward, Carlos.
He does, and he's one of the top major championship golfers, I would say, of this generation. Like you mentioned, he already has an Open Championship title on his resume. Historically, it has been like feast or famine across the pond, but he seems to be on the feast right now. He's on a current run of 10 straight top 25 finishes, which has included 5 top 5s. And you saw him right now at the Genesis Open. He looked to be in top form. He finished T4. He went under par in all rounds. So he enters also the Open right near the top of the PGA Tour in several of the key metrics that are key to a good performance here at Royal Troon. So definitely he's in good form. One of the best players in the world when he's on, and definitely one I'm looking forward to see how he's going to do.
Yeah, you know how I feel about Colin Morikawa. He's one of my favorite golfers since he came on tour. I love the way the kid plays. I love his maturity, his attitude, and anything that might be suspect for him is still his putting. He's much better than he was for a while. His putting really went south on him, and he's got it back. But putting is so important on links golf courses. You get those humps and bumps and wind. The greens are slower than what they're used to playing. So the putting is going to be the thing to watch for Colin Morikawa. But I have to tell you, Carlos, that Kieran and I both picked Colin Morikawa to win this week. So
Oh wow, you
yeah,
both agree on
yeah,
this?
I had it in the back of my mind, and I asked him who he liked, and he said that. By the way, you can watch our interview with Kieran on at Back Nine Report on TV on YouTube, or catch it on Facebook, whatever. But yeah, he put it out there, and I had it in my back of my mind. That's who I was going to choose as well. So we were unanimous on that. So let's move on. Scotty Scheffler, I don't know. He's doing okay. I don't know. He took a week off, and I don't know. He's having an okay year. What do you think about Scotty?
And Scotty Scheffler, has he been on a run this past 2 years? 12 wins already. He's the number one ranked golfer in the world.
By a
He's trying to win,
landslide.
yeah, double
Yeah.
it's incredible. He's trying to win seventh victory of the season. That is unheard of unless you are Tiger Woods. In 2024 alone, he has won 6 tournaments. That includes the Masters and 4 other signature events. He has only one finish worse than T17 in his last 15 starts. He doesn't know what that is. He's currently the favorite, of course, to win it in all betting parlors to win. He has yet to win the British Open. It's been the one that he hasn't done the best on, but he has finished inside the top 25 in all of 3 of the British Open appearances. His best was in 2021 when he finished T8. So he's unflappable. I mean, he has to be on everybody's box to win. So whether you put a first, second, third in your accounts and your bets, Scotty Scheffler is definitely here. He's for real. We can't be like in 2022 and 2023. When is he gonna drop off? no, he's here to stay.
He did take the week off last week, which is unusual. But do you think that will hurt him? Do you think he's going to show a little rust, or you think he'll just jump right back in?
No, if you see what happened last time he had a bad outing, he came and won the tournament. So it's like nothing phases him. You know, it's like, okay, I had a bad week. Let's just regroup. He just goes out and practices and come back and plays him amazing. So definitely he has to be, I don't think it'll affect him at all.
Let's talk about a couple more guys. There's one guy we ought to probably mention, this Irish guy, Rory McIlroy. He's usually somewhere in the mix at a major or a big tournament or a big tournament in Europe for sure. What are we thinking about Rory?
Oh man, I think he's hoping that his improved form with the putter can help him mount a serious challenge this week because I mean he's a consistent ball striker. That ball striking put him in the fringe of contention right now at Renaissance at the Scottish Open. But man, he had so many chances on the greens and that proved his downfall. Again, he fell short in his defense of the title that he won last year. He had rounds of 65, 67, 66, 67, 68 that left him in a tie for fourth. But I don't want to bring up some two putts on their 4 feet that happened some time ago. But what he said now after the Open, this Scottish Open, was he said, if I can get the putter to cooperate and get the speed on the greens down, I feel like I'll be in really good spot for the Open. Yeah, I think he needs to sit down with his putter, talk to him, have him come to Jesus moment because hey
I'm going to
man,
throw you in the fire, bitch, if you don't
yeah,
get if you don't start performing.
I've been known to throw clubs into the water, so you better do something for me this weekend. So yeah, until he gets that out of his mind, and of course, we all know all this thing. And one of the things that are really, really fires me up really bad is that why so many people keep insisting on this thing about Balionis and him. You know, leave the guy alone. Okay. Every time I open, I guess it's because of the cookies or something. Is Balionis ready to move on? And she's now in this place, moving from never had something happen. Leave him alone. All those things I think have been affecting him. He's back with his wife. I'm not gonna say that it was because he was with somebody else. Whatever happened is up to him, and whatever he does in his private life is up to him. But definitely, at some point, all these things have to affect you, and hopefully he's in a better place right now because we really need to see Rory McIlroy at his best. That PGA Tour and golf needs him to be.
Yeah, for me, Carlos, it's still a thing with his wedges. I saw quite a bit of his play over the weekend at the Scottish, and wedge play is just, if I were grading him on his wedge play for as great a player as he is, he's a C minus. That's where he's losing it. I mean, he wanted me to blame his putter, but if you want to score better, you got to hit your wedges better, buddy. And I'm not just talking about chipping around the greens. He's chipping fine, from 10 or 15 yards in. It's the 100 and 120-yard shots that are little knockdown wedges or whatever, and he's not getting them where he needs to get them on the green. I mean, he's missing the green from 120 yards. That just can't happen, for a good a player as he is. So I still want to see Rory to hit better wedge shots, and he's like he's stuck in between playing that draw and trying to hit a fade, and sometimes it's just not working for him. So one more guy, Carlos, Xander Schauffele. We both love him. He plays well in big tournaments. He's got a major this year. What do you think about Xander?
Sander, is one of my favorite players. I mean, he right now this year he's been actually when you see all the performances on the majors, he's been the second best player in the majors, narrowly behind Bryson DeChambeau, who he outlasted to win the PGA Championship. So he's been a fantastic player on the majors throughout his career. But I think that PGA Championship finally got that monkey off his back to show, hey, I can win one. I can do this stuff. So I mean, he finished that solo eight at the Masters. He had a T7 at the U.S. Open, so he's been in contention. Here at the Open, he has made all 6 cuts. T second 2018 at Carnoustie, and he played really well last week. Sub 70 rounds on that T15. It wasn't that big of a deal, but he only made one bogey all week. So he played really well. That I think that short game tidiness is gonna come in handy given the cool, wet, and windy weather on top this week. So and besides his stats are really excellent in all categories. So I
Very
would say
steady, very consistent.
yeah, he's perhaps the most adaptable player in the world to any condition, which is why he should be considered one of the favorites to win this weekend.
There's this other little tour called the LIV Tour that the Saudi Arabians put some money in, and Greg Norman's somehow involved in that. There are 18 LIV players in the field this week. Most notably, Bryson DeChambeau, who's just had a fantastic year in the majors. There's also a couple other guys, Brooks Koepka and maybe Terrell Hatton, Cam Smith, Dustin Johnson, John Rahm, who's gone MIA this year, and of course our old buddy Phil Mickelson. But any of those guys kind of stand out for you that you look to do well at the Open?
So I think the first five that you mentioned, Bryson DeChambeau definitely has to be on the top. He has to be
He's
one
got to
of
be
the
on the short list, doesn't he?
has to be on that. Now the others is like, what's going to happen? Brooks Koepka, I don't know what's going on with him. He shows up, he doesn't show up, but all the time, that you have to don't discount him to win on a major championship. Will he do it this year? I don't know. Cam Smith, he's been playing well in LIV, but will that be enough to show form here to win? Tyrell Hatton definitely is the one that I'm looking forward, other than Bryson DeChambeau, because he has always played well in the links, and he really was a top five player last time they played here in Royal Troon in 2016. So he's a very good links player, and you cannot discount him. John Ram, it's tough. I think all is here with him. He has not adapted to the criticism, and this is my own opinion. He's not said that, but I think the criticism of him moving to LIV, he has not adapted really well. Everything is up here, and if he really wants to come back and be that big player that he is, because he has, I mean, he was a former number one, but definitely his form has dropped ever since he went to LIV, and it has a lot to do mentally. And this is a tough course to come back and do well. So I don't expect him to do it. But if he actually does put it all together finally and accept, look, this is what it is. I'm here. I took the decision. I was a big boy doing it, and I don't care what you think about it. Then we will see him again do well. But I don't see how he done. And DJ seems like a forgotten man. Nobody talks about DJ anymore.
I know.
Where is he? Not even in LIV, he's doing well. I
Just counting
just
his
think
money,
he's having
man.
a good time. Yeah, good life, and all that. And Phil, well, I don't think he's gonna recant all that great duel that he did 8 years ago. But
Phil,
yeah,
Phil better start playing the Champions Tour a little more often.
yeah, he should do that. He should do that. But definitely, I would look forward for Bryson DeChambeau and Tyrell Hatton as the only two that I think from LIV that are gonna do. The ones Brooks and Cam Smith, well, you can't discount them by how good they are, how good they always do. But I don't think they have the form to do well.
We've been talking a little bit about the Scottish Open that was held last week at the Renaissance Club. Now that's over on the east coast of Scotland, and it was won by Robert Bobby McIntyre, who we've been kind of watching for a while now. He's still a young guy though, native son to Scotland. Can he go back to back? You think? What is he? Maybe like a dark horse for this week?
He definitely is a dark horse, but he's had a pretty decent form really recently. He won there. He won also the RBC Canadian Open. He was T8 at the PGA Championship, so he's been playing really well. He was T13 at Myrtle Beach before that, T16 at the Travelers. He did miss the cut at the Rocket Mortgage, but he did come back here and win the Genesis Scottish Open. So, like you said, he's Scottish native. Well, my only question is with him, will the pressure be too much to perform in front of his home? That would be the only
He got
thing.
it. He got her done in. He got it done at over there at Renaissance last week.
But it was perfect conditions in a different course, and now it's a major, and bad conditions are coming. So he's gonna have a lot to if he doesn't get off to a good start, can he really come back and keep pushing and trying to go through? That's gonna be if he's up off to a good start, maybe that'll be it. But then contending on a final round of a major championship, especially at home, that's gonna be tough. Of course, he's gonna have the support of everybody there, so that should help him. But it's gonna be a little tough to get it out.
So we talked about a lot of players, Carlos. Let's it's decision time here. Let's if you're going to put your money down, who are you going to bet on this week?
Oh wow, gee, you know, I know we had to talk about this, but
You
I
going to pull a
still,
Fred and pick like five guys?
yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. Like I actually have like a 12-man list
A
to
12
go.
pack.
12-man, yeah. But no, I'm just gonna tell you. To me, Scotty Scheffler still baffles me how good he's been. I think he is gonna come back with vengeance right now to come and win. After that, taking his week off, right? And you can't discard him. Bryson, I'm gonna go with the favorites. Bryson is really playing well, and Sander as well. I don't think Rory's gonna win. I wish he could play better, but I don't have him in there. Your guy Morikawa is another one uh, to look to see if he can do it. But I am going to tell you about a very big long shot and look for that one to come. And I think Alex Noren and Aaron Rai are going to play really well. Alex Noren has been hampered by injuries in the past few years, but he was always a mainstay in the European Tour and especially in the Open. And he has the kind of style that can play well here. And I think he's going to do well. For Rye, he's been playing really, really well. And I think he still has a little bit mentally to get to the way that he lost that tournament last time after being leading, and he should have won it, really. He just messed it up too much in the final hole. But definitely, if you come to see on the driving accuracy, he is really, really good. And he's right now just fourth in it. So that is very well needed here. So we'll see. Aaron Rai and Alex Noren are very deep dark horses that I think that can win it, or at least show up really well.
I like the Roy pick. I've been watching him the last few weeks, and he is really, really, what do I want to say, detail oriented.
Mhm.
He goes over every little thing, and everything's the same every time. He is very straight, very accurate off the tee, which I think will help him here. And as we've seen in the past, just like last year with Brian Harman winning, you don't have to be the longest guy in the world to win an Open Championship on a links golf course. If they got firm conditions, you become you even out with the long hitters, right? Especially if you got a good short game and can putt, which Harman putted the lights out last year for sure. So yeah, I like the right pick as a dark horse. I think that's a good one. I'm going to stick with my Morikawa pick. I like him a lot. I think he's trending in the right direction. If he doesn't win, I think he'll be in the top five. I think you're right. I think Rye will be up there. So yeah, I like the guys you're talking about. And so, Carlos, anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
No, I just hope that, Tiger Woods, I want to see what he's going to do. At least, show up and maybe make the cut. I don't know if he will do it or not. I mean, he has practiced twice. If the first time he has practiced twice for full 18 holes, he's gonna be talking tomorrow. So of course he's not gonna win, but I would like to see him at least show up, have a good showing and see what
If he could
he
finish
can.
top five or top 10, wouldn't that be something? Would that, I
Oh
mean,
my
just top
goodness.
10 would be unbelievable.
Yeah, just a top 10, even I would say a top 20, and he's there in the leaderboard, roaming around top 10, top 15, something like that. That will keep a lot of people talking for sure.
For sure. Carlos, has been a real treat having you back. Great to have you back on Back Nine Reports. So hope everything's going well for you. Thank you very much.
Same here. Thank you. Great to talk to you again.